Hey everybody, how are you doing? It is August 15th, 2020, and here is another update on the wildfires that are just raging out in California, Oregon, and Colorado. Among, many, there are also fires in many other states as well.
We begin with that wildfire raging out of control north of Los Angeles, threatening homes, forcing evacuations, all of it playing out in the middle of this pandemic. The lake fire, take a look, roaring to life yesterday afternoon, within hours, scorching thousands of acres, spawning this firenado. Some structures already lost, firefighters battling to save the rest. The fire still 0% contained. At this hour, crews are battling the flames, a looming heat wave, while also carrying protection against the virus. And now a new brush fire has just broken out east of LA. ABC's Will Carr leads us off tonight from the front line.
Tonight, the lake fire is threatening communities north of Los Angeles. The fire is out of control after exploding Wednesday.
The smoke cloud that this has created is absolutely enormous.
Going from a spark to more than 10,000 acres in less than 3 hours. Hundreds of firefighters are on the front lines battling steep terrain to save communities. Racing to get out, Randy Miller grabbed his cats and left.
I got in the car. It was so hot from the flames being around me. I thought I was going to blow tires.
Miller's home is okay, but Kenny Reynolds is not as fortunate.
It looked like the fire department was trying to do some home protection, but it did not look good. It did not have a chance. The neighbor's house was already engulfed when I left.
Helicopters are sweeping in, making crucial nighttime water drops. Our station KABC capturing this fire whirl on a hillside, a tornado of flames. The fire spreading in a rural part of LA County that hasn't seen fire activity since the late 60s.
I was surprised this morning that we did lose several structures.
Firefighters now forced to battle extreme fires while also dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, including the Orange County Fire Authority. While preparing for a bad fire season, Fire Chief Brian Finnessy telling me crews are now required to carry 3 days worth of PPE into the field.
When they get to a camp, they're being handed food. There's no more chow line. We don't sleep in sleeping trailers. It's a whole list of behaviors that have to change if we're going to keep our firefighters healthy.
So far this year, more than 40 of his firefighters have contracted COVID-19.
The virus taking a toll on those first responders. Will Carr joins us now from an absolute hellscape there in Lake Hughes, California. Now, Will, we know the fire officials are really concerned about the conditions the days ahead.
That's right, Thomas. We're seeing a lot of this devastation for the first time. I can tell you it is hot out today, and it's going to be more than 100 through the weekend. That is bad news for firefighters across the state as they try to get containment on this fire tonight. Tom.
Will Carr.
And I am doing some research more and more on what's going on with these high-speed rails. And I have some very, very interesting information, but it's going to take me a little while to put it together. But here I will just go to this to show you really quick one part that I've kind of have gone off of. Okay, right here, this says that this is called Brightline. Okay, and as you can hear, there's sirens going by the house. That's the third set of sirens, and that was 2 state cops. So there's something going on around me too, but sorry, we'll get back to this. But it says Las Vegas, Southern California expansion. It says Brightline is headed to the West Coast. The first phase of our Las Vegas to Southern California route will be on the Express West right-of-way connecting the 170 miles between Las Vegas to Victor Valley, California, with expansion to Los Angeles afterwards. Now, this is actually going to run right on the side of I-15. So it's not going to need to, knock down a bunch of houses or burn out area through there. But in the ends where the hubs are, they're going to want to expand and do whatever they want. Well, guess where Victor Valley just happens to be, right? Victor Valley just happens to be extremely close to the Apple fire. Okay, so I am putting all of this together, okay, and I'm going to make a map, okay, which it started right here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all these hubs together, and you will see, okay, like right here. Let's just check. This is where I'm at right now, okay. You have this is where the Las Vegas to Victor Valley high-speed rail is going to go, okay. It's going to go from there all the way down here. But just, how convenient that right here is the Apple Valley, or the Apple Fire, okay? The Apple Fire, okay? Not only that, then they say they're going to expand to where? Yes, that's right. Los Angeles, okay? So now, we have the fires going on here. We have fires up here. It definitely is, it's ramping up very fast, but I'm going to put all of this together and, have it in a presentation for you, and I'll make a whole video on it. And up here is the lake fire. Lake fire is actually all the way up here, but we have multiple fires burning. I mean, they're burning all over the place, and of course there's power outages nonstop, so I'll have a video on that too. But let's get back to this really quick. Officials in California, Oregon, and Colorado are battling a series of wildfires that have collectively torched about 100,000 acres, and things could get worse this weekend, with intense heat set to descend on much of the U.S. Authorities have issued evacuation orders for areas affected by the Lake Fire and Ranch 2 fire in Los Angeles County, California, the Mosier Creek Fire in Wasco County, Oregon, and the Pine Gulch, Grizzly Creek, and Cameron Peak fires in Colorado. Says the Lake Fire in northern Los Angeles County, just north of Santa Clarita, has burned more than 11,600 acres and 5 structures and was 12% contained as of late Friday morning, according to the LA County Fire Department. About 1,160 fire personnel from multiple agencies have responded to the blaze. Mandatory evacuations are in place for residents in Lake Hughes and surrounding areas. Says another fire in the county, dubbed the Ranch 2 fire, has burned about 2,500 acres and is 0% contained. The Angeles National Forest said earlier evacuation orders for the community of Mountain Cove have been lifted. So there's one good news, but you just got to stay on guard because they are pushing and pulling these things, and it's just like they put thermite on everything. The way that these things are burning, and of course they're blaming it on the heat. They don't even have the winds right now. They're saying that there's winds, but when you pull it up, there's not very much wind right now. So now it's just, they got to have an excuse, right? Oh, well, it's just because it's 100 degrees. That's why these things are burning like they never have before, Says the weather isn't helping. Say some of the hottest temperatures of the summer were expected Friday into the weekend in 11 states from Texas to California and into the Northwest. Nearly 85 million people under some sort of warning or watch or advisory on Friday, according to CNN meteorologist Dave Hennon. Gotta love them, right? Like we should just listen to their every word and everything else. From worsening drought to weather whiplash that brings wet seasons and drier dry seasons, climate change is hitting California harder than almost anywhere else in America. What do you know, right? They have to always push their narrative. Climate change. And listen to this. Weather whiplash. Here we go, where they're bringing up brand new words, making up all these different terms, making up all these different words, and just blaming it on climate change and the weather. It's just so easy to see their objective, to see their narrative. Their agenda is very, very obvious. It says wildfires are one of the most apparent and destructive examples of this. Numerous studies have tied increasing carbon dioxide emissions and climbing temperatures to increased acreage of burning across western U.S., particularly in California. Okay, hold on a second. Weren't you the ones that were just coming out just about a month or two ago talking about since we did the lockdown and since there's been so many stay-at-home orders and people are just not going out and doing hardly as much as they were, that you saw a massive decrease in the carbon dioxide emissions, that it looked so much better over all these areas? Yeah, don't you love how they just manipulate wherever the storyline is? Oh, well, now we're going to blame it back on it, right? Because people are back out doing everything. People just, there's no way that people, if they look into the information, are still falling for this. It says Colorado blaze is nation's top fire priority. Well, yeah, it's like the fourth of probably now the third biggest Colorado fire ever, and it's growing. It says officials in Colorado are dealing with several blazes, including the Grizzly Creek fire in Garfield County, which was about 13,400 acres on Friday. It says Governor Jared Polis called the Grizzly Creek blaze the top fire priority in the country in a news conference Friday, with resources coming in across the country to battle the fire. The fire broke out August 10th in Glenwood Canyon, according to the Encini Web, but the cause remains unknown. Okay, I did see something yesterday on one of these fires. They, it was arson, of course, but they're still looking for the subject. Yeah. The fire grew significantly Thursday and warned there would be more growth over the next few days, said Marty Adele, the U.S. Forest Service's incident commander for the blaze. Fire crews are contending with high temperatures, winds, and low relative humidities, he said. Some of the affected areas are inaccessible, making it hard to move firefighters and equipment in place, Adele said. Exactly. And they're going to use that. They're also saying that, because of CV-19, they don't have as many crews out. They're not able to, put as many people into these areas. I mean, can you believe that? That they're going to use this? I mean, I talked about this. I repeated this, that they were going to this wildfire season was going to be horrible because they were going to use CV-19, saying, oh, this is why we can't get into these areas. And even if we can, we don't have as many people. They're doing it with the storms too, the hurricanes, tropical storms. Look, and not even that. Look at the ratios I've been covering. Okay, you have the storm hits out east, right? Hits the northeast, that whole east coast, right? And they say, then the storm comes in behind and hits, the derecho hits the Midwest. Well, so what do? They tell the Midwest, well, sorry, all of the, your tree personnel and your power people went out to the east to help. So now we have literally nothing here to help you. We're only having so many crews that are even able to come to the area. We have more coming. Some are, they're coming home, obviously. But sorry, you're going to have to go without power for 2, 3, 4, 5, a week, 10 days, who knows? And with the heat that's going on and everything else that's going on, these are just more and more areas where they're controlling you with these power shutoffs, okay? And I'm going to get into, I'm making another video right after this one about the rolling blackouts that happened last night in California. We predicted it, we talked about it, we knew they were going to do it, and they're going to continue. And they're not only going to continue, they're going to get more and more common, and they're going to keep doing it. So we need to pay attention because it put people in a lot of bad spots last night. And if it would have lasted for more than 2 hours, 2.5 hours like it did in some areas, it really, really could have been bad. It was already horrible. Tons of food was lost. Tons of money was lost to all these restaurants that were open and had to shut down. But I'll get into that in a second. It says, while the fire has prompted some evacuation order, Polis said Friday that the main impact is traffic closures. Literally, the fire is right on Highway 70, he said. The governor said fire conditions are being exacerbated by dry weather. All of Colorado is under drought conditions right now, Polis said, so we are at great heightened risk in many of our areas. I want to make sure that is a clear message to campers and others to really limit activities that can cause fires as we go about our daily lives. Did you catch that? Really limit activities. Once again, they're going to use this, their agenda, to push their what? Their main goal, their main agenda, which is control, telling you can't do anything, you need to stay in your house, because now, not only do you risk going out and spreading CV, if you, forget to, turn your campground fire off, or not turn it off, obviously, but put it out, you could spread that. So it's just one thing after another that they're going to continue to do with these, okay? Says, meantime, the Pine Gulch fire, about 18 miles north of Grand Junction, Colorado, has consumed more than 73,000 acres, according to CineWeb. Only 7% containment. Another blaze, the Cameron Peak fire, has consumed 2179. And the Moisture Creek fire in Oregon also prompted evacuation. Several large air tankers were en route to help control the blaze, which by Friday had consumed about 971 acres and was 10% contained, according to the Oregon Department of Forestry Central Oregon District. The blaze has forced at least 565 homes to be evacuated, and 4 structures have already been burned, according to the Department of Forestry. Authorities believe the fire was human-caused. See, that might be the one that they said was arson. But I'll pull up some more information on all of this. I want to get to editing. I want you to get the news today because I have a lot of stuff that I need to cover today. So I love you all. Continue to pray. We need prayer more than ever right now. I can't even keep up. So it is one thing after another. So I just pray that all of you are okay, that we all have the strength to get through each day and to continue to be able to, get this information and get this truth out there so people can use it and be able to prepare their families, for their livelihoods. I love you all. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.